What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've been doing well. Today I'm going to be presenting another attempt at combining cryptozoology and something made of wood. Should be a fun one. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get into it. This episode is brought to you in part by Creative Cut Supplies, premium laser supplies to make your imagination a reality. So to get started, I'm going to sketch out my idea with good old-fashioned pencil and paper. My idea for this is pretty simple too, a 5-panel shell that surrounds a light bulb connected to a small lamp base, and each one of the panels will have a unique silhouette of a creepy creature. My hope here was to cast these silhouettes as shadows onto the wall when you turn the lamp on. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, which you'll see here in a little bit. But now that my sketches are done, I'll just take a photo of them with my phone and bring them into Adobe Illustrator to be vectorized. This part is always the most tedious, but a good podcast is always a huge help. But yeah, here's what I came up with for each one. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite, or if you recommend any others, because maybe I'll feature it in a future episode. Now on to materials. Creative Cut Supplies sent me their 1/8" pre-finished sample pack of plywood to try out. The pack includes 5 12 by 19" plywood sheets, each made from a different species: walnut, cherry, maple, Baltic birch, and sapele, I think it's called. Not sure. Also included in the packs are these awesome sheets of Dual-Tite, which are essentially large sheets of double-sided tape that cuts easily and cleanly on a laser cutter. Just peel and stick it onto whatever you're about to cut, and it will save you a ton of time and hassle compared to traditional methods like super glue. The plywood itself is by far the nicest material I've ever gotten to work with, and is perfect for hobbyists like myself who want a high-end look on a budget. And even though it's marketed towards those with laser cutters, at the end of the day, it's still plywood. So you can still use traditional woodworking tools to make something only limited by your imagination. So go check them out. Links in the description. Thank you again, Creative Cut Supplies. Let's get back into it. So since each plywood sheet is different, I opted for cutting all 5 panels on the same sheet of maple. I thought it might be a little small, but luckily it ended up being a perfect size compared to the lamp base, which I'll show in a little bit. So recently I've invested in a laser cutter because I want to start making quick and easy projects to sell and make a few extra bucks on the side. In the previous episode, I got to try out the Wizmaker Wand Mini, which I ended up really liking. So if you want to start your own laser engraving journey too, but are on a very tight budget, go check them out. I'll have an affiliate link in the description. My personal machine here is a WeCreate, which is also really good. No issues so far. The cutting process only took a couple minutes, and looking back on this, I really wish I had moved the panel on the right all the way to one side so I had some leftovers to work with, but I was thankfully still able to make a little something out of the scraps. Now it's time to consider how I want to attach the panels together while also coming up with a way to mount the shell to the lamp base. There's certainly no shortage of ways you can do this, but I ended up opting for a simple snowflake type structure. The key here is making it as strong as possible while also allowing optimal space for light to shine out of the top and bottom to maximize the light bulb's efficiency and lighting the space evenly. I feel as though this shape does exactly that. I'm going to be using unfinished 3mm plywood for this since I'll be layering it up and making it more rigid, and I don't want to waste the nice pre-finished plywood. I'm also using 3 layers for the bottom, but only 2 layers for the top since the bottom is where it will attach to the lamp base and it needs a little bit more strength. After gluing it up and letting it dry, I'll take it out to my workshop to do a little bit of sanding. Some of the panels shifted ever so slightly, so using a spindle sander like this is a huge help, but hand sanding works just as well. After that, I'll apply some red oak stain and things are starting to look pretty cool. Now it's time to start marking where all the panels will attach to the skeletal brace, if you will. Not really sure what else to call them. It's here I realized though that it would look a lot cooler if each of the panels had the respective names on them, and for those who don't know which one's which. Thankfully it's a pretty straightforward process, but note that if you are using diode laser, sometimes engraving something with a clear coat can be a little tricky since the laser light will sometimes just shine right through and engrave what's underneath the clear coat. So just do a couple test runs and see what settings work best for you. Now for the tricky part, I'm going to try and align these the best I can and add a little drop of super glue to tack them into place. I'll be adding a nail later on, but I want them to be aligned and somewhat attached before that point. Super glue dries pretty quickly, so I don't know why I'm adding a string here to clamp it, but better safe than sorry, I guess. From here, I will start marking where I'd like to drill small pilot holes for the nails I'll be adding in a little bit. This has to be as precise as possible, so I made sure to take my time and measure everything twice. After the holes are drilled, I'll add a little bit of craft glue onto these beautiful little brass nails, as well as inside of the holes before driving them in, being as careful as possible. It's also here that I realized I completely forgot to incorporate a feature that allows me to add a light bulb. Yeah. So this is the bulb I originally wanted to use for this project, and needless to say, it's not going to fit. Oh man, it wouldn't be a Brett's Builds if I didn't make a few mistakes along the way. It's all good. Thankfully enough though, when I created the skeletal frame pieces, I made the top opening a lot wider, so it would let out more light, and as luck would have it, it's just wide enough for a regular light bulb. Nice. If I were to redo this, I would just make one of the panels attached to the frame via small rare earth magnets so you can remove it at any time and put whatever size light bulb you want there. But moving on, it's time to paint the base. I'll have a link in the description as to where I bought this, but going with the mid-century modern look, I'm going to cover it with a coat of gold spray paint. And once that dries, I'm ready to combine the two pieces and hunt down an extra light bulb. Oh wow, look at that. And this project is complete. Unfortunately, my idea to have it cast shadows didn't really work out like I had hoped, and there isn't really an easy way to add in a diffuser to hide the intensity of the light bulb, but it's all good. I think the point here is to showcase what is possible and iron out any mistakes that you don't have to make in case you want to make it yourself. I really love the look of the lamp as a whole. The characters turned out better than expected, and finally getting to work with premium materials was amazing. Thank you again, Creative Cut Supplies, for hooking me up. If you want to see their selection of materials or shop around for their products featured in this episode, I'll have links in the description for that as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. It really helps this channel grow and get these videos out into the algorithm for everyone to see. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or just want to say hi, let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next project.